The course is broken into essentially two parts. The first one is one quarter, and it's a boot camp style, very intense focus on basics. Go back into programming, learn to program properly, learn to program efficiently, learn tricks that are necessary in order to be a good programmer in games. Same thing with art. Even if you think you know programming or art or design, we're going to teach you the things that really matter in the game industry. Once that phase is done, then we'll create teams, and those teams will work on their own games. Each team will have one game. And as the game progresses, the mentors will help out by saying, hey, yeah, I know this looks like a good idea, but try it this way instead, it's better. Or, from my experience, you're going to run into problems with, cache misses or polygon counts or whatever it is. And we can help the students not make mistakes, but at the same time, the students are learning to work together in a very cross-disciplinary way. Because what's very important in the industry is that while a programmer doesn't necessarily have to know how to make a model, he has to understand what a model is, and he has to understand how artists make them. And if you work in isolation, if you learn in isolation, then you'll never be able to be a member of a team, and you'll never be able to solve a problem. You end up with just finger pointing. You say, oh, it's a programming problem, or it's an art problem, instead of the two of us, let's sit down and figure out how to solve this. And that's really what's necessary in a game studio environment, is to be able to take that and be able to work together and be able to understand the entire process from start to finish. Part of what we're going to be doing is we have a game lounge, and we'll always have the latest games available, because one of the best ways to learn about what's going on in the industry is to play the latest games and then sit there and think, how did they do that? How did they make that happen? And by trying to dissect a game, dissecting it whether it's from the game design perspective or from a programming perspective or an art perspective, we can then take them back into the classroom and help them understand how might you go about doing that, or different tricks that allow that to happen. Biggest suggestions for students is love games. The game industry is a very difficult industry, and a lot of people, it swallows up a lot of people. If you're only kind of half interested in games, it's not worth it. It's very much like the movie industry. If you love film, then you can handle the schedule and you can handle the pressure and you will love what you do. There's nothing that you will love more. But if you don't love games, then it's just grueling schedules and huge workloads, and for something that you might not be interested in. But for those people who really love making games, there's nothing in the world like going into a store, picking up a copy of your game and saying, I made this.